I'm going to compare React versus Vue in 2021. So first of all, let's start with the contestants. So let's look at the similarities between them. They both have TypeScript support, they have reactivity and component structure, PWA support for progressive web apps, backward compatibility, easy version migration, virtual DOM, and using additional libraries to implement routing, global state management like Vuex and Redux, and much more. Okay, so I want to share something with you before we compare Vue.js and React. So right now we have a Vue.js course up and running on Udemy, and we have a free coupon code in the description. So make sure you get the course for free, as it's only free for a limited time. Okay, now we can continue with the video. So let's first get into the popularity of these two frameworks. So as you can see from the charts shown to you, React also takes second place in this ranking, and Vue is only slightly behind. So Vue, since its release in 2014, it has gained considerable popularity in a fairly short time. According to Google Trends, the statistics we can see, we can track developer interest in these two frameworks over the past 2 years. If you look at them, it becomes obvious that React has been confidently holding the leadership position for exactly 1 year. The number of requests for it is almost double that of Vue.js. Still, this does not give us the right to push Vue into the background, so let's continue with the popularity. So the next source is our survey in NPM Trends. This is an informative tool that compares the number of package downloads. So as you can see from the charts, the number of downloads of React and its accompanying libraries is almost 5 times higher than that of Vue.js. From these state of JavaScript graphs, we can conclude that more people are completely satisfied using React, but at the same time the percentage of Vue.js isn't much lower. So now let's go over the job opportunities for both of these frameworks. So all of the previous charts presented to you, they show the direct views of the developers. Now we will look at the data that reflects the needs of the business. The more ads published, the more likely you are to get a job in less time. And as you can see from the chart, React clearly has much more job opportunities. So now let's cover the performance of these two frameworks. As you can see, this chart shows us that Vue is actually faster than React. So there are concepts like the virtual DOM and real DOM. How working with the DOM is organized is a major factor in the performance of JavaScript tools for developing interfaces. React uses the virtual DOM, which is a lightweight browser agnostic system. One of the main reasons for the popularity of React is that it works very efficiently with the DOM. Vue also uses this virtual DOM, but compared to React, Vue has better performance and stability. Now let's go over the size of these two frameworks. So the size of the JS code is a very important metric that has a strong impact on the performance of web projects. The smaller it is, the better it is naturally. In short, React is slightly heavier than Vue. React is about 100k in size, but here it should be noted that React, to implement certain features, needs third-party libraries. One such feature is routing. So all of these libraries will even add more size to React. The size of Vue is about 80 kilobytes, since it is a project with a wider set of standard features. So you have routing and you have many libraries already included inside Vue.js, so you wouldn't have to go and install it. And even with that, it's still smaller than React. Both React and Vue are still fairly small in size, which makes them quite suitable for developing small applications. So now let's summarize the React.js framework. So React was made by Jordan, a developer at Facebook. The library was first used in 2011 in the Facebook newsfeed. A year later on Instagram, and in 2013 the code was actually opened for everyone. React is the leader in the JavaScript UI framework today. Such giant applications as Skype, Uber Eats, Airbnb are all written in React. So let's go over 3 reasons why you should choose React. First of all, it's very convenient to use. The code is easy to read and you don't need to be an expert to learn it. React is made by Facebook, and let's be honest, Facebook is a very big company and they have a lot of programmers, so they can really expand this framework and keep it growing. Thirdly, the community is very large. There are over 130 posts on GitHub tagged React. This library is used all over the world and there is a huge community of programmers behind React, including Facebook. So now let's look at the advantages of using React. So the React documentation provides detailed solutions to common problems. The design is simple and customization can be done quickly. Okay. Another advantage is speed and performance. Another one is linking JavaScript and HTML JSX makes components easy to understand because now you can program and use HTML at the same time. It provides opportunities for SEO optimization. The server-side rendering is very good on React. Vue.js implements functional programming concepts by creating code that is easy to test and is reusable. React.js also has TypeScript support, so this leads to fewer bugs. Also, the lead time for a prototype application is much shorter. Experienced developers can prepare applications in a very short amount of time. So now let's cover the disadvantages of React. So first of all, the additional libraries must be used, and they do take up a lot of space that will make the website much bigger. React is kept fairly simple, but compiling an entire framework based on React can be a challenge. The flexibility the freedom React offers can lead to a wasted time deciding on the best approach to different tasks. Using the JSX syntax extension to mix HTML and JavaScript can be an obstacle to effective use of the library. Applications are usually heavier with React.js. With React.js, it's difficult to adapt for all Androids. The problem is more of a wide and various collection of Android devices than native JS. Another disadvantage is a decrease in performance. Since any action in a React application has to go through intermediate libraries, they slow down slightly. However, if your mobile program does not carry out any calculations, then no one will notice the increase in processor load, which is up to 2% instead of 1%. Now let's look at the Vue.js framework. So Vue.js is the new star among frameworks. It was made by Ivan Yu, a former Google engineer. He aims to combine the strengths of Angular and React while balancing out their respective weaknesses. Vue.js was first published in 2014 and then restarted in 2016. So now let's look at 3 reasons why you should choose Vue.js. First of all, it has a solid tooling ecosystem. Vue.js continues to grow thanks to its tiny framework size, detailed documentation, and reusability. It's very easy to use, as Vue.js is easily accessible for every developer because they can start their work without spending a lot of time. The development team does not have to be doesn't have to familiarize itself with complex architecture. So another reason is modular construction. Vue.js has a modular structure. The core library initially only provides the basic functions. The requirements of a project can reduce the overhead to a minimum. In comparison, Angular and React have a more monolithic structure and thus limit their flexibility. Vue.js enables the implementation of separate features of an app without changing the architecture. This enables the gradual integration of individual sections into the project. So now let's go over the advantages of the Vue.js framework. First of all, the small size of the new runtime library. It makes it very fast to load. The good documentation with additional best practice examples shows all options that Vue.js offers within a very short time. The basic structure is based on known technologies such as JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. The structure and the core library enable flexible solutions to problems. Vue.js does not restrict the use of various tools. Thanks to the good implementation of the virtual DOM, Vue.js has a high speed compared to other frameworks. The work of the developers is made easier and more effective. The Vue CLI command line interface brings a variety of different tools, components, and project templates with it. Single file components, dynamic building makes it possible in Vue.js to store HTML, JavaScript, and CSS in separate files. Ease of integration into existing projects. So now let's cover the disadvantages of using Vue.js. The Vue community is not that widespread, but it's still growing. Vue.js is still relatively new and doesn't have the support or financial backing of the big tech players like Angular or React. Vue.js still lacks this form of support, which is why Vue is used most often for smaller projects. Vue is particularly popular in China. It means that a significant amount of the content and community discussions about the framework are in Chinese. The component approach falls short of competitors like React in terms of flexibility. But this is not Vue.js's fault, because it is a framework that provides tools for the full development cycle of an application. In contrast, React is a rendering library that mainly focuses on the components approach. A quick disclaimer guys, don't forget to check out the course in the description and use the coupon as it's only free for a limited amount of time. Now let's conclude this video. So we have compared the similarities, the popularity, the job opportunities, the performance, the size, and the advantages and disadvantages for both frameworks. Both frameworks are awesome and they are still growing and improving. We have compiled all the information you need and you can decide for yourself and let us know your decision in the comments. Who is the winner?